Breaking news: Poland calls on NATO after Russian drones penetrated their airspace. After Russia's massive drone attack on Ukraine, Donald Tusk did not seem to like this move by Russia, where some of its drones slipped through on Wednesday into Polish airspace, according to information released by Reuters. Because of this incident, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk requested consultation under Article 4 of the North Atlantic Treaty. Poland also strengthened its air defenses and is asking for more concrete support from its allies. It is still unclear whether the drones were intentionally sent for provocation or if they had a broader objective. Before we dive in, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit like and subscribe button. It means a lot to us small creators. Thank you so much. Poland has already requested consultation with NATO to invoke Article 4 after Russian drones entered its airspace during a massive attack against Ukraine. Russia released more than 400 drone strikes, one of the largest attacks in recent months. Prime Minister Donald Tusk confirmed the violation and said that words alone are not enough, and he asked for stronger support from NATO. NATO ambassadors are now meeting to discuss Poland's emergency request for consultations. Here's why this is important. Article 4 has only been used 7 times since NATO was founded in 1949. Unlike Article 5, it is not an automatic military defense, but it compels immediate consultations. The last solo invocation was from Turkey in 2020, after Syrian airstrikes killed Turkish soldiers. Meanwhile, Poland launched fighter jets together with Dutch and Italian aircraft to intercept the drones. Several Russian unmanned vehicles entered Polish airspace while targeting western Ukraine near the border. The Polish armed forces confirmed they used weapons, and that operations to recover fallen debris are ongoing. This is the first direct Russian military breach of NATO airspace since the full-scale war began. Russian drones crossed into a NATO member state, while active fighting is ongoing. Poland has a 500-mile border with Ukraine, making it the most exposed member of the alliance. It also hosts important supply routes, where Western military aid flows into Ukraine. Now, Moscow is testing NATO's reaction. Tusk called this a large-scale provocation that requires concrete steps, not just diplomatic statements. Meanwhile, the government is on high alert in eastern regions and advised residents to remain indoors. Polish forces continue to search for drone wreckage on their land. The timing is important for many reasons. Russia's drone campaign targeted Ukraine's energy grid. As winter approaches, Ukraine destroyed or suppressed more than 400 targets that night, but some still landed in Poland. Whether this was deliberate or accidental is unclear. This forces NATO to face a situation it has avoided for 3 years. While US officials have already been briefed, NATO confirmed that ambassadors will meet to decide on next steps, but Poland wants more than just meetings. Tusk emphasized that concrete steps are needed, not just words. Thousands of NATO troops are already in Poland. As part of the enhanced forward presence, the country spends 4% of its GDP on defense, double NATO's requirement. Now Warsaw is asking if the current deterrents are enough. For those unfamiliar, Article 4 of NATO allows any member to request consultations when they feel their security is threatened. The alliance must meet to assess risks and plan a response. Turkey used this after Syria shot down a reconnaissance aircraft. But Poland's case carries more weight. This is because a nuclear-armed adversary directly violated NATO territory during an active war. Russia has already threatened NATO states supporting Ukraine with military consequences, and now Moscow seems to be testing those threats in reality. According to analysts, this is a Kremlin test of NATO's strength and limits. Russia wants to know how far it can go without triggering Article 5 defense. This incident also shows Ukraine's challenges in air defense. Despite many successes, some drones still entered NATO airspace. It highlights the massive scale of Russia's nightly attacks. Poland's move could affect NATO's wider conflict posture. If the response is weak, it will invite more provocations. If the response is strong, it risks direct NATO-Russia confrontation. The stakes extend beyond Poland's borders. The Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania are watching closely. They too experience similar Russian intimidation and hybrid operations. Poland's invocation could set a precedent for the alliance's next steps. Behind closed doors, NATO is weighing options. They could deploy new air defense systems to Poland. They could also expand the no-fly zone at the border, or increase surveillance flights to monitor Russia's moves. Whatever NATO decides will send a clear message to Moscow. Meanwhile, another major Russian oil refinery was blown up by Ukraine. This latest attack hit the Rayazan facility, just 300 meters from Moscow. Russian officials confirmed the strike and said that 40% of the refinery's processing capacity was destroyed. Ukraine used a new long-range drone that completely bypassed Russia's most advanced air defense systems. The Rayazan refinery produces jet fuel for Russia's military aircraft, Ukrainian military sources revealed. They are targeting Russia's economic backbone. One official said, "Every refinery we destroy reduces Russia's revenue by millions in losses and repair costs." This is Ukraine's 9th successful refinery strike since January. In total, these attacks have removed 25% of Russia's refining capacity. Russia had just launched drones against Ukrainian cities, where 21 civilians were killed in Urova village. Zelensky directly addressed the strikes. According to him, the key to peace is to cut off the money and resources of Russia's war machine. But beyond economic damage, Ukraine's strategy is to deliberately target facilities producing military-grade fuel and lubricants. The Rayazan attack used coordinates provided by local Russian resistance groups. These groups inside Russia help Ukraine identify critical infrastructure targets. Meanwhile, Russia's response shows growing desperation. They deployed S-400 systems around the remaining refineries, even removing them from frontline positions. Because of this, Russian air defense weakened on the actual battlefield. Ukrainian forces immediately took advantage, succeeding in strikes near Donetsk. Oil exports make up a third of Russia's federal budget revenue. Each destroyed refinery forces Russia to export crude oil instead of refined products, reducing their profit margins by $40 per barrel. Insurance companies also no longer want to provide coverage for Russian oil facilities. Lloyd's of London cancelled all policies. After the 10th Ukrainian strike, the Rayazan strike destroyed specialized equipment manufactured only in Germany, and because sanctions block replacement parts, the damage is almost impossible to repair. These strikes are forcing Russia into an impossible choice: protect the refineries or defend frontline positions. Ukrainian intelligence intercepted Russian communications, showing they are already panicking. Military commanders are arguing over fuel allocation as supplies quickly run out. Domestic fuel prices in regions near destroyed refineries have risen by 20%. Russian truckers are struggling due to fuel shortages, which are already affecting food distribution. And in Moscow, for the first time since sanctions began, grocery stores have reported empty shelves. But Russia's problems go beyond immediate shortages. They have also lost their technical expertise. To rebuild modern refinery systems, most of their petroleum engineers studied in Western universities, but now cannot return because of sanctions. China also refused Russia's requests for refinery reconstruction assistance, preferring instead to buy cheap Russian crude rather than help rebuild their competitor. As a result, Russia is becoming increasingly isolated and economically vulnerable. Every successful Ukrainian strike accelerates the collapse of Russia's war machine. Western intelligence confirmed that Ukraine already has the coordinates of 30 refinery targets. This systematic campaign will continue until Russia's fuel production collapses completely. Without functioning refineries, Russia will become just a raw material supplier, and such a severe economic downgrade could determine Russia's future for decades.